What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be discussing what I did at MomoCon 2026. So, if you don't know what that is a huge convention in Atlanta, Georgia, held every Memorial Day weekend. I'm sorry, there's just a kind of bright light on my webcam. Back to what I was saying, MomoCon is held in Atlanta, Georgia, every Memorial Day weekend, and it's one of the most popular conventions slash events that you can find on that weekend. There's a lot of cosplaying for a lot of games, manga, comics, which kind of count as manga, movies, TV shows. There's a lot of different media that are having its characters being cosplayed, if that makes sense. So today I'm going to be discussing what I did, what I thought of my experience, and how it changed my life for the better. This is going to be a long video, and I don't know if it's going to pull any views, but let's get into it. To start out this discussion, and I think this is the most important thing I did at this convention, I helped volunteer. If you don't know what volunteers do, they pretty much help the entire convention run on. And I wanted to say that I managed to get in on Wednesday, which Wednesday wasn't part of the convention schedule, May 20th. It only went from the 21st to 24th, Thursday to Sunday. But I got there on Wednesday to pick up my volunteer badge with some people, and the place was not air conditioned, so I was sweating a lot when I got to my hotel room, but it was very much worth it. I met some good people there to start, but nothing could prepare me for the following day, which was a really long day to say the least, as I had my first shift go from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and then my second shift go from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., which is long, very long, of course. Before we go any further, I want to let you guys know that I failed to record any clips beside the video of me previewing the gaming hall before it all came together. This is really unfortunate, as I had a lot of fun interacting with my coworkers and the guests here. I asked them a lot of questions. I got some compliments on my shirts. For example, on Thursday, I was wearing a shirt promoting Bring Me the Horizon, and I got a compliment from a cosplayer saying it was her favorite rock band. And I told her that I was doing a specific contest I'll get to later. It was a musical based contest, and I was performing one of the songs on the back of my shirt that I was wearing. It was a Sempiternal shirt. If you don't know what Sempiternal is, the fourth studio album from Bring Me the Horizon, amazing album, by the way. It is so good for a metalcore album. And it was very enlightening to have that compliment. You'll see what I mean by mystery song, or something along the lines of mystery song, in a little bit. Between all the 16 hours I was scheduled to work, I had at one point to carry a box, and I could not physically move my arms for a few minutes after. I ended up going to Chick-fil-A for my first lunch of the con, and I really had to take an Advil because it was that bad. Both my arms and hands, like in the situation where if you flex your hands, they hurt really badly. It was like that for like a few minutes. It was so bad. And I hated every second of just failing to move my arm. I had to put my arm on the table. I struggled to do so in order to eat. So, yeah, it's weird. But I guess it was worth it because beforehand I ended up setting up the monitors for the tournaments. I unboxed them and assembled them, which is that was one of the most pivotal things I did when I was volunteering, because it was just getting everybody ready for the countless tournaments. Like I said, Mario Kart, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 2XKO, Street Fighter, Tekken. It wasn't just fighting games, by the way, because in a really interesting fashion, there were also tournaments for Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross World, and Kirby Air Riders. So three racing games in addition to the rest being fighting games, which is really interesting. Before my first hour shift, I went behind the stage, or I was allowed to go behind the stages, and I was told that this was the first ever huge Mario Kart tournament, which is insane. I'm very happy to be a part of it, even if I wasn't commentating, even if I wasn't running it. I was really happy I helped in some capacity because I was setting up all the monitors. Speaking of volunteering, I don't know if this counts as volunteering, but there is a local venue in Atlanta called 404 Esports. And on Thursday, which was my first day of helping out at MomoCon, I was there for an audio issue being fixed, and I commentated a little bit of the tournament. Here's a clip.
I actually don't know what region he's from.
Well, I know Toxic is.
Oh my god! Just got sent to the depths.
I don't think Toxic can believe it either. Yeah, so that's a 2-0 for Toxic, I guess.
Beforehand, I saw another Bring Me the Horizon shirt wearer. So I just had to praise him and talk about the rock band for a little bit. And that was pretty much it for helping. So I'm going to move on to other things now. And for that topic, I will begin with the cosplay lip sync contest, which this might have been my favorite part of the con beside helping out. On Saturday, I was dressed as Light Yagami from Death Note, which subsidiary note. I found all the supplies for that in my house. What I mean by that is I used my natural hair, no wig. I also used things I already had in the house for a while, and it worked out really well. I don't know if I can show you a picture of it, but overall it was a very good one. Just imagine me in my current outfit in a Light Yagami outfit. Back to Saturday, I was entered into a lip sync contest. And the big song reveal, no drum roll please, was Sleepwalking by Bring Me the Horizon because I love that band so much. It was on the track list at the bottom of the shirt below the Sempiternal album cover. I would say I did great. I did not perform perfectly in some cases because I was just improvising some of my moves at the time. The only part I really practiced was the beginning and ending of the song. But what mattered was I was competing with upwards of 10 other competitors, which is crazy. I got waitlisted at the start, and then I got promoted to the actual contest a few days later, like I think on May 18th, which was incredible to do. I was up there, and that's what matters. And finally, for this video, I'm going to be talking about briefly the 2XKO tournament. There were about 24 competitors in this tournament, and it was actually more, but it's because of mixed mode that the entry count was 24. If you don't know what I mean on StarGG, there is a mode called Mixed, which allows teams of 2 to compete alongside individuals. For my run, I played against 1 team and 2 individuals. I lost my first match, won the next, and then lost my next match to get eliminated at, I believe, 13th. Yeah, 13th. For some reason, I set a mental goal to myself to get on the tournament stage and top 8, but that was way before the surge of attendees that just blew my expectations and my ambition out of the water, unfortunately. Still, it was a fun time. I was disappointed in my result, but even still, I was there. I was there. Going home on Sunday marked the end of my experience in MomoCon 2026. It was just incredible. Between the lip sync contest, the cosplaying, and the helping out, in addition to the 2XKO tournament, it was one of the best weekends of my life. And I say that because it gave me an entirely new outlook on tournaments and conventions, because it needs to be set up first before everyone can pile into the venue. I was so happy to be a part of the esports support department. I just cannot wait for what's next. I think I want to volunteer at more conventions because of that, but that would likely be at like the admin desk for tournaments. I've been doing fighting game things since the start of this decade. The 2020s were really tumultuous for me, but this was one of the better weekends of this period because I had a new outlook on tournaments and conventions after it. So, if you went to MomoCon, tell me what you thought of it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.